Hey friend, welcome to Everyday Imperfect, the podcast for busy people with imperfect faith. I'm Tabatha Ruiz, pastor's wife, mom, author, speaker, and a very imperfect believer in Jesus. I've had to wrestle through some pretty dark times in my faith, all while keeping that mask of perfection in place. Till finally I realized that having faith doesn't mean that you don't have doubts or questions, and that doesn't make us less of a Christian either. It means we are a Christian with questions. And you know what? It's okay to have imperfect faith. We have a perfect God. So if your faith needs a little boost today, crank those AirPods up and borrow a cup of imperfect faith from us today. Let's go. Hey friends, welcome back to Everyday Imperfect. We are at the end of our series called Practices That Contribute to Our Faith Struggles and How to Fix Them. Over these past several weeks, we've been naming some of the quiet habits that can weaken our faith without us even realizing it. And then we're talking through how to strengthen those areas with intention and grace. We've talked about the danger of isolation, the struggle of giving things to God but then taking them right back, guarding our eyes and ears, and making personal quiet time with God a priority. And if you were here a couple of weeks ago, we included a bonus episode about guarding what comes out of your mouth as well. Today, as we wrap up this series, we're ending on something foundational, really, the importance of staying connected to a church community. Because, friends, the enemy doesn't mind if we believe in Jesus as long as he could keep us separated from his body. And just like we talked about in episode number 1 of this series, isolation is how he can weaken your witness, and we don't want that to happen. So here's why this matters. Now, there's something very powerful about being in the house of God. There's a strengthening that happens when we're worshiping together and sitting under good biblical teaching together and serve together. Hebrews chapter 10, verses 24 and 25 says, "Let us consider how we may spur one another on toward love and good deeds, not giving up meeting together, but encouraging one another, and all the more as you see the day approaching." See, the early church didn't just gather on Sundays, they lived life together. They broke bread, they prayed, they learned, they shared resources, supported one another, and built deep relationships that held their faith through persecution and trials. But today, for so many believers, church attendance has become casual or optional. A missed Sunday turns into a missed month, and before long, we feel disconnected from God, disconnected from others, and disconnected from our own purpose. And we don't always connect those feelings to the very thing that we've let slip. But let's be honest. Staying out of the church often starts with something small. Something like, "Oh, I'm tired. I'll just watch it online or on Facebook. We had a busy week. I just don't feel like going. Someone hurt my feelings. I don't feel connected." Have you ever heard any of those excuses before? Or maybe you've used one. But listen, each missed service becomes easier and easier to justify. It truly is a slippery slope. And each time, our spiritual sensitivity dulls just a little bit more. What we forget is this: church isn't just a place we go, it's a family we belong to. Hey guys, I just wanted to take a second to tell you about something that still seems unreal for me. My first book, Beyond the Shadows of Doubt, Imperfect Faith for Perfect Peace, is available on Amazon. My editor calls this a memoir and a spiritual growth book, but I call it my testimony. Some of you know that I went through a really dark and deeply hopeless time with my faith, so much that I even questioned if the Lord was even real, if what I believed was just a lie, or if it was even going to be worth it after all. I pray the lessons that I learned going through this valley of the shadows of doubt is what will help you get through your own times of doubt and heavy questioning. We'll put the link in the show notes, so get your copy today, or maybe grab a copy for a friend who needs a little hope in their shadows today. Church isn't just a place we go, it's a family we belong to. It's where we grow, it's where we're challenged, where we're sharpened, and where we're encouraged. And with that in mind, I want to invite my husband, Pastor Jerry Ruiz, and I love to introduce him this way. My husband, my best friend, my enabler of all good things, and my favorite theologian, Pastor Jerry Ruiz. So, Pastor, tell me, what can you say that one phrase when people tell you, "Well, I don't have to go to church to be a Christian." Tell me about that.
Yeah, people often say that going to church doesn't make you a Christian any more than standing in a garage makes you a car.
And then what do you say?
And my response is that, yeah, you're right. But if you are a car, you belong in a garage. The garage was made for you.
Yes.
It was maybe you. That's where you get protection.
Mm-hmm.
That's where you have tools that you need to have proper maintenance.
Yep. You can
Yeah,
get your
garage is where cars
fill up.
belong. So yeah, you can get, yeah, absolutely.
Well, thank you for sharing that. And that's exactly what I want people to understand. Yeah, not every church is perfect, but neither are we. And just like Pastor Jerry said, church wasn't made for anything other than giving us a place to commune with God and with other believers. Now, when we remove ourselves from the body of believers, that's when our faith starts drifting in ways that we didn't intend. And at this point, I just want to go back to the Bible a little bit, if that's okay with you. We're going to have a little bit of biblical reflection and see what the Bible says about this. The early church, which I love studying about the early church, in Acts chapter 2, verse 42, gives us such a simple, beautiful model of this. It says, they devoted themselves to the apostles' teaching and to fellowship, to the breaking of bread and to prayer. That word devoted matters. It means they were committed, they're consistent and intentional. Paul's letters were almost never written to individuals alone, they were written to churches, to gatherings, to communities. Now, why is that, you think? It's because God designed our faith to flourish in community, not in isolation. Now, we can't talk about staying in community without acknowledging a hard truth. Sometimes church hurt is real. People can be careless, misunderstandings happen, leaders fail, and relationships break. If you've been hurt by someone in the church, that pain is valid and God sees it. But friends, hurt should never drive us out of the place God designed to heal us. If offense is keeping us from the house of God, then offense is winning. If hurt is keeping us away from community, hurt is winning. It's leading. And neither of those things deserve that kind of power in our lives. Healing often happens in the very community we're tempted to walk away from. So let me share with you some practical ways to reconnect. If you've been slipping out of church or feeling disconnected, here are a few practical steps that you can take. Number 1, commit to showing up, even if it feels awkward, even if you don't feel like it yet. Show up, because I promise you it's probably more on your end, the awkwardness, than it is on anyone else's end. They're just going to be happy to see you. Number 2, don't just attend. Rather, engage. Join a group, serve somewhere, sit with someone. Connection grows through participation. 3, address hurt with grace. If something happened, take a step toward reconciliation. Don't let bitterness settle in your heart. Like we mentioned before, that does not have the right to have a power over you. 4, let people in. Be open enough to let community do what it's meant to do: encourage, strengthen, and support you. And 5, remember the purpose. You don't go to church for perfection. You go to church for Christ and for the community that He's building. Now, as we close out this series, I want to say this from my heart. Our faith was never meant to be walked out alone. You need people, and people need you. The gifts in you, the story in you, the presence that you bring, they matter to your church family. So if you've been drifting, let this be your gentle invitation back home. Not out of guilt, not out of pressure, but because your spirit needs the strength of community. And friends, I just want to pray over us real quick this morning, or whenever it is that you're listening. Our Father, who knows everything much better than I do, God, thank you for your church. Thank you for your body, your people, the family of believers that you've placed us in. For every friend listening who has ever felt disconnected or discouraged or distant, God, I pray that you will gently draw their heart back into that community you've called them to. Heal those places of hurt. Restore joy in the gathering. And God, renew the desire to worship together, to grow together and serve together. God, I pray that you will bless every home and every heart listening today in Jesus' mighty and holy name. Amen. Friends, thank you for joining me today and for joining me through this whole series. I pray these episodes have strengthened your faith and given you practical tools to walk with God more confidently and intentionally. Remember, perfection isn't the goal. Presence is. Presence with God, who is the only perfect one, and presence with His people, who are everyday imperfect, just like we are. We'll see you next week on Everyday Imperfect. Thank you, guys. Hey, friend, thank you so much for joining us on today's podcast. Check the show notes for any links and resources we may have mentioned, and please do me a big favor and leave us 5 stars on the podcast platform where you found us. And if you can't give us 5 stars, tell us how we can get those 5 stars. That's how other people can find out about us and the message we're trying to get out, that it's okay for us to be imperfect in our everyday life because we follow Jesus Christ, who is perfect for us. Also, if you'll go to the Buzzsprout link in the show notes, you can leave me fan mail. That's basically where you tell me what you think about the show and make suggestions for upcoming topics. I can't wait to hear from you. Now, please share this imperfect episode with your imperfect friends and make sure to subscribe so you don't miss the next episode releasing soon.